welcome again to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with my brothers Damon and Jaquari Armstrong. We have a special guest today, Yalanda Moore-McClain. Hey, listen, this is a special day for us. Yeah, and a very powerful human being, a powerful business owner, and even greater personality. Welcome to the show, Yalanda.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you for having me.
all right, all
Welcome,
right. Hey,
welcome,
Welcome.
Jaquari, how you
welcome.
doing today, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. First of all, welcome to the show. We gonna interview. Good to have you. I'm doing well
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
It's pretty much an uneventful day. Filled with the telework grind, and it ain't killed me. So let's go.
All right.
Damon, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. I was nursing my grandbaby today. She got a little head cold, man, and boy,
Both things.
man, she was going through it, man. But we made it through. As soon as our daddy walked through the door, she just dismissed me. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's every day.
She is just coughing and bossing all day.
Man, nose running.
She
She went
leaned
to
over, her nose was running. She said, Pop, come here, and smacked you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick.
no. What she did when she came, walked up to me, she grabbed my shirt and did like this. Say, "All right, man, now go make me something to eat."
Go on and peel me a grape name.
It's all good. I was a pop girl. Pop's
Yeah.
great.
Yolanda, how you doing today?
I
Welcome.
am great. I'm highly favored, full of joy and all that good stuff.
Okay. Hey, look, we're looking forward to this situation. Just to let everybody know, this is Strong Perspective Podcast, and what we do is we have conversations with everyday people with everyday perspectives, because really and truly, that's what makes this world go around. We ordinary people, and I don't say that to be dismissive. I say it to help you to understand that you can be great and not shine as brightly as these celebrities, but your knowledge and who you are, that's the beautiful thing. So I'm gonna start off with some house cleaning. This, like I said before, this is Strong Perspective Podcast. I want you to pay attention to the bottom of the screen, scrolling across. It is Yolanda's uh, occupation, business. She's a owner and CEO of Healing Intervention Inc. So I want you guys to pay attention to it. She's going to talk about that today. Let me go ahead and get into my segment. The very first segment is called Big Dog's Perspective. So basically, I'm going to be short but sweet. I sat around. I usually carpool my youngest son. I take him to school every day. So I had the radio on, and it was a talk radio station. Now, the man wanted to talk about Donald Trump. He loved Donald Trump, and he felt as though he's getting a raw deal because they took him to trial for bribing a woman with his campaign fund. Keep her quiet so he can run for president. And I thought about it. I said, is this where we've come to? Because I know somebody, look, this is my own personal opinion. People didn't pay attention to his first 4 years. They never paid attention to the hell. When I say the hell, I'm talking about all the healthy stuff that was going on in social media, the backbiting, attempted revolution, everything caused by him spewing a lot of hate. And what I realized and what made me sad was those people on high, that's in Congress and the Senate and all this different things, they don't suffer, we suffer. The people down here in these cities, these states, we suffer because they make decisions that's always been influenced by how much money somebody's getting. And really and truly, I don't have a point to this. It's just a personal observation. Like, damn, I would love for a week straight, now for really for the rest of my life, well, for a week straight, to hear something, some good, a politician, a celebrity has done for people who deserve it. Now it's up to you to figure out who deserves it or not. But just to see that instead of seeing the bull crap. So that was my little perspective. It was a little choppy because I didn't want to get on here cursing and gyrating like I was some damn revolutionary. Power to the people. But we're gonna go ahead with the show. And I say it again, welcome again, Yalanda. Um, while we just started off, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Yalanda Moore-McClain. I am originally from Eastern North Carolina, a small town called Williamston. Um, I graduated from the illustrious North Carolina Central University as a criminal justice major, right? As a criminal justice major, a month before graduating from college, I worked for the Department of Corrections, and then in 1998, I joined uh, the Wake County Sheriff's Office, where I was fortunate to meet my brother-in-law here, law enforcement, Keith Armstrong. And from there, I was there for approximately 11 years, went on active reserve status. I did so to start my own business in the mental health field. My business is Healing Interventions Incorporated, where we provide community intervention services for adults and children that have been diagnosed with a mental illness. We are located in Raleigh, North Carolina, as well as in Richmond, Virginia. In Raleigh, North Carolina, I have a program called Psychosocial Rehabilitation, where adults come on site Monday through Friday, and we provide strategies, interventions, create a person-centered plan for those individuals so they can, sustain in those communities. Well, in our community, some individuals they live independently, some live in group homes, and I enjoy going to the office in here in Raleigh and seeing their faces. They're just a joy to be around. And in Richmond, Virginia, we provide four services, three adult services and one service called Intensive In-Home, where qualified professionals and licensed professionals go in the community and provide those services for individuals with mental illnesses as well.
Okay. Okay. Um, can you tell us what what put you on the path of that? Once you became a sheriff, well, no, let's start from the beginning. What made you want to become a sheriff then?
So, when I was a little girl, back in the big town of Williamston, North Carolina, there was in elementary school, there was a black female law enforcement officer that used to be there every morning. And she was beautiful. She looked like me. She was brown like me. She was in uniform. And besides my mom, to me, she was like a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of imprinted on me from then. That's what I wanted to become. I wanted to be a police officer. And in a child's mind, okay, I can be cute in a uniform, and I can protect little kids too.
That's what's up.
So from there, when I went to NCCU, I majored in criminal justice and just start the path to becoming a law enforcement officer.
Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming that your career at the sheriff department was a pretty good one. You can nod, and we can move on from there.
No, it was. I will say I'll be very transparent, and honest. I did have good experiences with the Wake County Sheriff's Office, and the biggest thing is the family. that I will always have. The relationships that I built with yourself and other individuals. There was a time, I don't know how it is now, it actually felt like a family there. So when I talk about later on about different support systems and stuff like that, I include my Wake County Sheriff's Office family as my support system as well.
Okay.
It's very hard to be around a person for 12 hours and not grow some kind of attachment to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I
That's
was
true.
wondering. I'm sorry to cut you off, Keith. I was wondering if if, you know, in the capacity of your business, do you go into like juvenile facilities or correctional facilities or anything?
We do not. We
No.
do not. Most of our services are provided either on site, like I stated, for the one in Raleigh, and in Virginia, we go out in the actual community. We don't go any kind of like into the institutions because technically they're already being serviced in some capacity. I put it that way.
Mm.
Well, that's definitely a story that needs to be heard from a lot of people, especially these days. You know, growing up, you seeing somebody that you admire that looks like you,
Hmm.
and then actually going into the field
Hmm.
and gaining a family that's forever.
Hmm.
You know, that
Hmm.
is the beautiful thing. You know,
Thank you.
you
It
know,
absolutely is. And her name was Missy Lane Highsmith. And I saw her on Facebook. I reached out to her and let her know her impact on my life.
wow. Shout out to Miss Iceman.
Absolutely. An
And she
amazing woman.
still does she still look beautiful?
Absolutely. Yep, she is. I'm like, yes.
Okay.
That's real.
So how is it? Do the families reach out to you, or is it a referral? Are they referred to you?
It's a little bit of both. Um,
Okay.
Sometimes we're referred to by other stakeholders, so we may be referred by DHHS
Okay.
in North Carolina. We may be referred by other families in the community. We may be referred by church members. They may have heard of us. Consumers, that's what we call the people that we serve, consumers that we serve that were like formerly in our
Okay.
services and say, well, hey, this is what they did for me. It comes from various resources.
Okay. Um. So go ahead, Jaquan.
So as far as refresh my memory, how long has your business been in operation?
Since 2009.
Since 2009. So as far as goal setting, what's next for you? I mean, are you just you just want to grow your business, like you're doing it now, or you want to move on to something else, or what's your future look like?
Okay, I appreciate that question. Yes, I definitely plan to expand my business. Like I said, we're in North Carolina and Richmond, Virginia now. We do plan on going to another state by the end of the year, prayerfully, but also get into other streams of income, other revenues, such as like real estate and
Hmm.
things like that. Like for instance, I was fortunate to be able to purchase a townhome when I was with the sheriff's office. So now I have a tenant there, and my husband as well. We both are into real estate, and we're constantly building. So that's a blessing to have a partner that has that that vision and that drive as well.
All
Okay.
right. All
Okay.
right.
So let me just say this. I think either it's because it's her first podcast situation, and she needs to. I told her plug yourself, right? Plug your husband, but also I want everybody to know who's looking that we're speaking to the CEO and owner of this business. We got to make that clear because this young lady built something with a good team that's sustainable and that's very very successful.
Thank you.
I just had to say that, but
Thank you.
it's up to you to big your husband up. I mean, because like I said, let everybody know, and I say that because at one time or another, me and my brothers have talked about our wives.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? Because this is the kind of situation that we're in. We speak on the people that we love. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So um, you don't have to go in depth because your husband might be private, like, hey, don't be telling our business. You know what I'm
Look, he's in here somewhere ear hustling. Believe that.
saying? But this, can you tell us short? This is short and sweet.
Hmm.
How long you been married,
Okay.
and where you guys met? We'll touch on that subject, so you'll
Yeah.
get that out of the way. Then you can get into the motion of everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. My husband and I, we met the end of 2018 through a mutual acquaintance of ours, and we got married in 2021. And he is one of my biggest supporters. He's a military veteran. He served about 22 to 23 years of service, did 4 tours, and he's just an amazing person. When I met him, he felt like home. That's the best thing, I can tell you. Especially like when I first met him, he hugged. It just felt like home. He reminded me of my like how my grandfather, my uncles, my male cousins, they made me feel like protected, taken care of, and that's exactly what he does for me. He's a good person, and he's a man's man, and that's what I grew up with. So, yeah. Why
Hey,
you
look.
laughing, Keith?
Hey, look. I'm laughing because that's saying a lot coming from you, because you're a very strong human being. You know what I mean? For you to acknowledge that, that means a lot. It really does. You know what I mean? Um, so let's get back to, now you said that it's a little both referrals and things like that, right?
Mhm.
Can you compare uh, what you do now with your business and what you did in law enforcement?
Sure. The comparison is I still get to protect and serve.
Wow.
I do believe that with this business that God has blessed me with, that He's given me charge to continue to serve His people, and I take that very seriously. Because at the end of the day, the people that I serve could easily be, they could have been me, So, like I said, I get to protect and serve. Um, like I said, the no nonsense approach, the structure given to us, being law enforcement officers, that has served me well in business. I'll also be transparent, but my Achilles heel has been because I come from a single parent family background. I was blessed to be that child that the village raised. Don't get me wrong, but I know that having that has, I can't say being a detriment. I have learned some lessons by some things I may not have been healed on myself. I put it that way.
Okay.
Having that mentality because I come from very humble beginnings. Like when I eat, you eat. But if you're
Right.
dealing with someone where something is never enough, someone that may carry that spirit of jealousy, or someone who operates in survival and you don't know it at first,
Okay.
you know, you get to learn some hard lessons real quick.
Trauma is a tricky thing. I mean, because it can disguise itself, in a thing of beauty, and the thing of, and it can set itself up in a situation that you believe that you really, really need.
Hmm.
You,
So
you talk yourself into believing. Yeah,
yeah, it's
Hmm.
the trick. It's the tricky, ugly thing.
Hmm.
it really is. I think one thing about it, just my own personal point of view of you, Yolanda, is when I met you, you are exactly how you describe yourself to be. But the thing about it is, you can look into your eyes and see how open you are to your surroundings and understanding that you want to be engaged, but if you recognize that you don't, that person really is not for you, you pretty much step away from it.
Right,
But
right.
you do it in a quiet way.
Hmm.
You
Right.
know what I mean? And that, I think, what I think that is. I think that has a lot to do with how you feel about you, because I'm big on that when it comes to my personal growth. Is the greatest lesson I ever learned is to learn how to love me and
Absolutely.
understand where I'm coming from. You know,
Mhm.
um, this is a question for all three of you guys. You know, we're gonna give you a break because it feels like we're grilling you. But tell me, and this, like I said, this, and we'll start with you, Dan. Um, as an adult, what do you think? What do you think? And you don't have to describe the moment, but describe the feeling. What feeling did you have when you understood that you had to stand 10 toes down and make a change in yourself? And I'm talking about from your 20s all the way up to where you are now. Like you knew this is what I need to do to change my life or to keep my life on course. You understand, Damon?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to answer the best I can. The major times when I knew I needed to make changes is when I started having kids. You know, being responsible for them, well, for their future and raising them and stuff like that. Um, Getting in a relationship. I met my wife in college, so being in a relationship with her, you know, and having the mindset of growing, building and growing something together. Uh, there are a lot of different situations, man. Your interactions with other people. Do you rub people the wrong way? Have you hurt people in the past? You know, people that you care about. You know, um, are there some changes that you need to make about yourself that that rubs people the wrong way? I mean, I don't know if I'm answering the question, man, but
I mean, you
it's
answered it,
ongoing, man. It's ongoing. You know,
that's the truth.
hey, you see somebody that you saw a couple of weeks ago and they don't have anything to say, and you're like, well, what's going on? You know, you might have said something that was offensive. You know, and it's like I wasn't aware. You know, you just don't have that awareness. You know, so it's just me. You having the awareness of myself. You know, in a humble way.
So self-awareness is very important to you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, because you just don't know
Mm-hmm.
how you come off sometimes.
Got you. Jaquari.
Well, I came to that realization, man. Relatively young, man. Before I even moved to North Carolina, man. We were struggling, and I couldn't seem to get a foothold anywhere, man. But then I realized that I wasn't really doing anything for myself. I was relying on the kindness of other people, to help me get a foothold. And sometimes that's necessary, but it comes a point in a young man's life where he's got to step out on faith and believe in himself, and start to create his own independence, and things started kind of like falling into place for me mentally right before I did move to North Carolina, man. Because I would pray, man. And if I would pray, Lord, if you just give me a shot at something, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run with it until I get tired. And finding myself wasn't an easy thing, man. It wasn't an easy thing. And sometimes, at 50 years old to this day, man, it's still some things I'm cloudy on. But I think that's been a major part of my success. You know, for as successful as I've become. You know what I mean? It's that inquisitive nature, man. It's you know the sense of what my next level is. That's because that was one of the particular reasons why I asked you that question earlier, Yolanda. What's next for you? Because I'm always thinking about what's next for me.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, uh, but yeah, that's just about it for me, man. Trying to find my independence, man. Trying to create a space for myself. You know.
Yolanda.
Okay. Well, the point in my life where I knew I had to stay on course, where I had messed up at, is that after my mom passed and I almost lost everything. Um, but I almost lost my home. My credit was jacked up, and it was not a situation where I didn't have the finances to do so. I just didn't care. I lost my way for a minute. I used to drink really bad. No one knew that. At the time, I was, in working with the sheriff's office. I would go home and drink hard liquor. Get up the next morning, starch my uniform up, pull my hair back in a bun, work my regular duty, off duty, and no one knew the difference of, knew any wiser because I kept it. I'm more of a my nature. I'm an introvert, and oftentimes I don't share. Yeah, especially in the past, I didn't share. Um, and I had to just get right about myself. I was in my home one day, and it's like I could hear my mom say, "Baby, pull yourself together." I believe coming out of that, it was my faith, my will, and that sense of, "Hey, girl, you know better," and just pull it together. And so that's where it was for me to keep myself on course, because God had blessed me with so much for me to lose it because I was going through something and would not speak up.
Mhm. Okay. Well, let me, uh, because I found that interesting that you said that, because we talked about it yesterday and you said it today. So, was it because you felt you didn't have anybody after your mother passed, or did you feel as though you had the load to carry?
I had somebody, I had some bodies. I have a large family. I had the
Mhm.
support of my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I
No,
was
no.
just
What I mean. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What I mean is you keeping it to yourself.
mhm.
You
That
know.
was by to keep it to myself was by choice. I was just in a dark place, and I
Okay.
chose not to express myself or share.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, but that's the condition that the world has put everybody in: black, white, red, or green. I mean, we're it's harped upon, and we're conditioned to believe that we absolutely got to solve our own issues. I mean, people need help. People need to speak. I hold things in myself. To the
Hmm.
point where I might lash out, and I don't even know why. You know, if you don't know and understand what your triggers are, I mean, you're gonna be doing a lot of damage to people, and not only to yourself but the people around you.
Absolutely, because hurt people. Now, since I've been working, in the mental health field for approximately 15 years, I've had counseling since then. And then I'm a very big advocate for mental health, especially in our community, because a lot of times we won't do it. And as I mentioned, previously, that when we were slaves and brought over from Africa, stolen from our homeland, they didn't have no therapists waiting on the shores of the East Coast or wherever we were dropped off, islands or whatever, to say, well, hey, you were stolen from your land or what have you. Here's a therapist to help you get through, your traumas and everything. And so, yeah.
Like you
I think
said.
it's a constant pathology of trauma because in our community, again, it stems back from generations that, we just didn't get therapy. A lot of us just don't. And my prayer is that me sharing my story, we sharing our stories, and some people will look at this and say, it's okay. It's okay to say, I'm not okay.
I'm gonna tell you when you said that. I mean, that's a great point. As far as we didn't have any therapists, and all I can imagine is, somebody sitting at a table, all the Congolese on this side, all the Ethiopians here, and but just like you said, it's one of them kind of things where you know trying to see me personally. I'll be honest with you, and I said this to you last night. I think as a people, we don't go to black men don't go to the doctor, physically don't go to the doctor, but we do self medicate for our head to make ourselves feel good. You know what I mean? So when is that narrative where everybody's caught on to, hey, um, black men don't seek therapy. Oh, it was never presented to us to seek it. Now that we know, now we're going for it. You know what I mean?
I think the younger generation seek it
Yeah,
and is
I agree.
unashamed of it.
I agree.
You know,
Um, Jaquari,
Mm.
you at the halftime segment. You go ahead and bring us on. Go ahead and do your due, bro, and we'll start from there.
Yeah. Okay. The name of my segment is called Uncle Spo Says. And as I told my brothers before we came on tonight, I didn't have anything prepared. I couldn't think of nothing all day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read a couple of things that I've written down in my phone. Short statements. Blurbs here, blurbs there, things that I thought were interesting at the moment or whatever. And keep in mind that I suffer from insomnia, right? So all these things probably came to me like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So the first one is called "Fuck You." All right, and it goes, "Fuck you and get pregnant, bitch."
I
So
love him.
so the "fuck you" can be carried on to the next generation.
Wow.
Let me see. Next one is what's behind a smile? Okay. In the animal kingdom, a smile is an open act of aggression. I had an old head tell me once that you could tell if a person is a killer by the way that he smiles. Let me see. What is this? Let me see. True friend. All right. The only true friend that will never betray you is silence. Keep your shit to yourself. Let's see. That's a part of that mentality that we just discussed, Yolanda. That traumatic, perpetual, you know, thing that keeps us in a state of victimhood. You know, but now that I mention that, is being a victim of something such a bad thing?
Oh, you gotta explain that, bro.
What I mean is, if you do suffer certain traumas and certain things have happened to you, doesn't that make you a victim? Where's the shame in victimhood? Why is there shame in victimhood? That's the first step. That's actually I believe that's the first step to healing is admitting that at some point you were a victim. No matter how much the world tells us
Okay.
that we need to display these superhuman attributes, right? Black men are supposed to be the backbone of the family. They're supposed to be we're athletically gifted. We're the strongest people in the world. You know, physically strongest people in the world. We have prowess. But what people don't tell you about backbones is that they were designed to bend. They were designed to be flexible. They have to be in order to support the whole. You know, let's get some help. Let's get some help. I mean, it's just as simple as that. If we get the help that we need, the proper help that doesn't exist in a pill bottle or a freaking blunt or a fifth of liquor, I bet you we treat each other better. And that's it.
Good. Good, good. Okay. Great job, my guy. Great job. Um, I tell you what, just by the "fuck you" poem, it made me veer to another direction as far as question is concerned. We'll come back to our outline. So,
well, I wanted to respond to the victimhood statement, man. When he was talking about that, I think I agree with what you said, but in today's climate, man, they made it they politicized it so much, man. You know, to make you try to make people look like they weak in being a victim. You see what I'm saying? And if you addressing somebody who has been victimized, man, how the hell you know what the hell they going through if it ain't you? You know, and people take things different. You know, we all individuals. You know, none of us are exactly the same. So how the hell you gonna speak against somebody who has been a victim? There's no way in the hell you can. You know,
That's
but they
why it never
politicize.
works. Bro.
Yeah, they
That's why it never
politicize
works.
it, and they you know they tell black people stop being a victim. What the hell do you know about it?
Right.
You have no idea of matter of fact, you sound stupid in making that statement. You know, anybody who's really about having empathy towards humanity, why would you make a stupid statement like that?
Right.
You
And
know,
that's another reason why a lot of people don't seek therapy because of that stereotype of when you say weak and victim in the same sentence. But that's
right,
not it though. It's strength to say, well, I'm not okay. It's strength to seek out help and counseling. So when somebody comes to you, then you listen and you get that person help or just shut the hell up. Don't say nothing. Because one day
exactly.
it's gonna come right back around to you. So we just have to be
Yep.
careful and be there to support each other.
But you know, also we both make great points. But also, when people do that and they try to bash the victim, is because they're afraid to be in that same situation that person is in. They don't know how they're going to react. That's my opinion. They don't know how they're going to react. So what they do? Oh, he weak. Oh man, he's a little hoe. You know what I mean? But well, just like Damon said, you don't know. You're not in that position. So why are you even saying that? Why are you even speaking on it like that? Because you're afraid to be there. You know? All right, well, look, at the bottom of the screen, this chimed in on both you and Yolanda, Damon. Terry, Terry said one can be a victim of a situation, and it's for you, Jaquan, but you don't have to have a victim mentality not to reside there.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. But I mean, 1,000 mile journey takes, it starts with the first step. You're gonna have to function within that victimhood while you're seeking the help. You can't you
Hmm.
can you can't cut it off. I
Right.
mean, as far as residing there, I mean,
Well, you know what?
you're gonna be there until you get better.
Let me ask you guys this, and this for all three of you. Do you think that it's been pumped into our psyche for so long that it's almost a default for us to feel like we've been victimized, which we have been?
The greatest trick this society played on our community was actually getting us to acknowledge our victimhood but give us no solutions to it. I mean, that's basically the premise of this show. The devil can tell you everything that's wrong, and he can be 100% right. But if he doesn't give you any solutions, it's masturbation. Excuse my
Right.
term.
Mhm. I think that when we go through things, we get to own those feelings. I don't think that we should like sweep them under the rug, pretend like they're not there.
Yeah.
And I don't see it on the screen anymore. Perhaps that's what the individual meant by don't reside in those feelings, because if you reside in those feelings, that spirit of depression can easily set in. And it still goes back to, seeking out some type of therapy. And therapy, some people may not want to sit on a clinician's couch, but if you have a parishioner, someone, you go to church with, your pastor, what have you, you can start there too.
Yeah. I wish I had the steps of
Hello?
grief in front of. Huh? I wish I had the
I
steps
think
of the
we've
grieving
lost you.
process in front of me. That would help me kind of like solidify my point a little more. I mean,
Okay.
it's like skipping a step. I mean, like I said, it's not ideal to reside there. Of course, it's not ideal to reside there, but in this moment right now, this is where you are.
Okay.
What's your strategy on moving past this point? Do you realize that do you realize that it's necessary to have a strategy to move past this point? Trauma. You can't take an aspirin and make trauma go away. It's a process.
Yeah, it's definitely a process, and one has to ask themselves too: Do I want the help? Do I know I
Exactly.
need the help?
That's a good statement, Yolanda. But how do you know if you've never understood that you needed help? How do you know? How do you acknowledge it to yourself, and how do you ask for it if you never knew what help was? Because you've always existed in um existed in turmoil.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's basically what I'm saying is, and now this is not a question, but it's just pretty much a statement that
Hmm.
what we do, in my opinion, and this is my small window of the world, is I see people who don't give where they should give, and they push where they shouldn't push, where they should be listening, right? And it has a lot to do with your pride, men and women.
Yes.
It has a lot to do with your pride.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You know, me personally, I know I have great strength, right? But what I learned how to do is ask for help. I mean, that's that was with the first time I actually asked for help. I was a grown man.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was a small thing, but it was the first step, like Jaquari said, taking the
Yeah.
first step.
But you've also got to consider the things that that we normalize as a community. The fucked up things that we normalize as a community. Freaking a wholesale murder of our young folks, man. Misogyny, doggone, fathers not in the home for absolutely no good reason. In some cases, we've normalized all of these things, and the hell, the word nigger. We've normalized all of these things, and we blame the world for putting that stamp on us. But quite honestly, for as an example, that's the first time. Well, the second time the second time, yeah, second time I've used the word nigga in months. I don't use that word. Certain things that I don't do, you know, uh, because of the optics. You know, I really try to lead my life, by setting a positive example and modeling certain behaviors or whatever, and there's things that I avoid. So young people who are around me can't say that I influenced them that way. And I think that's important. It's important for young folks, young black men in particular, to see a black man who enters a room and speaks to everybody, acknowledges everyone. It's important for young black men to, and not trying to be chauvinistic or anything, but it's important for young black men to see an example of an older black man who stands up when women come into the room, who holds doors,
Yes.
who's a gentleman to everybody. That's my motto. I'm a gentleman to everybody, man, woman, child, doesn't matter. You know, and I've been called naive, but you don't have to earn my respect. You don't have to earn it. It's here.
What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say what did Pop tell us? He say, man, you got your respect. You lose it, but when you do something to lose respect, everybody has it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know how? Yeah. You know how we lose respect is when we give it away.
Right.
You know.
I didn't mean to cut. I
I,
didn't mean to cut you off. What's going on?
I think we lose respect when we make it an expectation of others to respect us. That's what I think we lose respect.
Well, that's giving away too. That's kind of part of it.
I want to touch on because this whole victimhood thing, man. You know how they try to label black people. Oh, y'all just acting like victims. First of all, a victim is somebody who, me as a black man, I experienced all kind of racism and discrimination and all that, and I overcame it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but what I'm saying is I stand proud with, you know what, I was faced with this, and I overcame it. So you even looking in my direction talking about you acting like a victim, you know what I'm saying, is like disrespectful to me. You don't know what I went through. You don't understand. I'm standing in front of you as a black man. You know what I'm saying? I take that in pride. They say, well, what do you rather be called? African American? No, I'm a black man. Wherever I go in this world, that's what I'm going to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a victim to any of that. You know, and I fight for, you know, my family and myself. You know? So when I think of victim, I'm thinking about, you know, a child being molested, a woman being raped or something like that. Those are hard things to overcome. You know what I'm saying? Me being a black man, I overcame that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm successful. I've gone to this, I demand this much respect. So you're not gonna come to me and label me as, oh man, you playing the victim role. And then another, what the hell is reverse racism? What is that? You know what I'm saying? That's about as dumb as hearing fake news. You know what I'm saying? These kind of phrases is ridiculous to me, man. So
But
I think it's about the mindset, man.
But they're phrases that are somewhat steeped, I would say, in reality. Fuki. Are you telling me that
It's not steeped. It's repeated constantly.
Stop. Are you telling me that it's not possible for a black person to be racist?
It's possible for a black person to be biased. Everybody is biased, brother.
Oh my God.
Racism.
It's possible.
Are you telling me?
Hold on, man.
Just because we don't.
Let me answer your question.
Things, are you telling me?
Let me answer your question, bro. I'm answering your question. You can be biased, right? Meaning that you see white people in a certain way, you see Asians in a certain way, you see them in a certain way, and you treat them a certain way because that's how you see them. Racism is power. It stops people from doing the things that they're supposed to do. Now it's overused when you got a motherfucker in the store who look at you crazy, and then you say he racist. No, that motherfucker don't have power over you. Excuse me for cursing. That man don't have power over you. Racism is the people who's enacting these damn laws to stifle your community.
Well, the understanding is,
and it's semantics.
Everybody can be tribal to a certain degree, man. Everybody can. You know what I'm saying? That's just the nature of things. But you saying, can a black person be racist?
Damon, you go ahead and finish, and then we're gonna get back on track, man, because we done went into some.
Right. Because I got a real question to ask you now, but a real good one though. I think a lot of black people respond to racism, man, and therefore, you know what I'm saying, go to their prospective sides, man. I think a lot of it is response, man. I mean, that's just my humble opinion. You know. But
yeah, hard head make a soft ass. Ask your question, brother.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Yalanda, you've been in law enforcement and now you in this field that you're in. What do you think about all the situations where mental people are being, harmed during police encounters and stuff like that? Do you what do you think about having people on site, not when the danger is there, but on site to try to help that person who having a mental breakdown or something like that? I mean, what's your take on that?
My take on that is this. Now, I know with the Wake County Sheriff's Office, we do have CIT officers, so that's supposed to be Let's say if a person calls 911, if we know that a person may be a potential, what we say 1096 back in the day, I don't know if this is still the 10 code for it now, it has a mental issue, then the request is for a CIT officer to arrive on the scene or to take that call, probably with another responding officer. Now, I do also believe it would be a good idea. I don't know if they're doing it now or not. Is for law enforcement to connect with a mental health agency, whether it be a private agency or some through the LME or the MCOs, to also to check in, provided it's a safe environment for that civilian, because most of the time we are civilians in this particular capacity here. I think that would be actually really helpful.
So is that something that your company does, or
If asked, we can. Oftentimes, I'm a big advocate, a proponent for promoting CIT officers. What I tell my staff is that when they find themselves, particularly in an unsafe environment, and they need the support of law enforcement, I let them know about the CIT program. And that way, when and if they utilize that particular service, there's a networking, a relationship built between the agencies, our agency, and whoever the responding law enforcement agency may be.
okay, okay. Well,
But
all right.
we
Yeah, go
also
ahead.
have a, excuse me, the businesses like mine, we also have a, like I said, a crisis line ourselves too. But it still ties back into what I just said, as far as like if it's a situation where we need to check in for CIT with the CIT officer or law enforcement agency, we definitely will call for that
Okay.
support and backup.
All right. Now, this next question is going to, and this is overused terms nowadays, pivot away from what we're currently talking about. We can come back to this, but knowing you for so many years, understanding, and this is overused too, you being a strong woman, really and truly being confident in yourself, right? You've been married since 2018?
2021.
20, I'm sorry. You've known your husband since then,
Right,
right?
correct. Yes.
And you pretty much knew, I'm going to give it to you, so we got to do some boo loving here. You pretty much knew that after the first year that he was the one.
I can't
Right?
say that. I knew that
Right?
when I met him that,
Good,
like
good.
he
I'm
felt
glad
like
you
home.
answered.
You're right. I'll be transparent about our story, because when he and I initially met, his mother was sick. She unfortunately battled cancer. We met maybe that October of 2018, and unfortunately she passed December, like New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And because I had the experience of watching my mom sick and she passed, I was like, listen, I wasn't even trying to be like no kind of romantic relationship. Like, this dude will need a friend, because I've been there. And
That's deep.
so, so once, it was all said and done, he was like, you're gonna, like, basically, you're gonna be my wife. You've been there through thick and thin. Because I've been there, you know what I'm saying?
So you
So
got claimed then.
that part.
And then, so did you accept
He
being claimed?
recognized,
No, no. Did you did
he
you accept?
recognized.
Okay. Well, let me ask this then.
It ain't nothing like being chose.
Um, and you don't have to go too in depth in it. Just the fact that I want to hear your answer, and the people that know you
Mhm.
will probably want to hear your response to this. The dating scene before you met your husband, as compared to while you was with him. I told you we was gonna pivot away from it for a second
Right.
because I want everybody to know your personality.
Okay, the dating scene before I met my husband to when?
To when you met him, as
When
comparing the two.
as comparing. Um,
Yeah.
hmm,
How many frogs did you kiss?
it wasn't a lot, because I don't like anybody right off bat. You know, I just don't. And then, coming up as a young girl, I was
She said,
tomboy.
I ain't friendly.
I played with boys, so I never had that. As a matter of fact, when my cousins told me I was slow, I didn't know when a man was flirting with me. That's just how
Okay.
my cousins roll. So I would say, um, I've always been very selective,
Okay.
in the dating process. So I
So
haven't been in a whole lot of relationships. I'm just,
what was it? Frustration?
okay. We want to do it right. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do this right.
No, 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 no.
We're gonna do
First of
this
all,
right.
the three of us are married, and we understand. I'm asking this question because you know you're married now,
Yeah.
so you get to have an opinion.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I'm just saying. like, because
No, but look,
I like the realness of this conversation. You know what I'm
the
saying?
only thing is, if you say ninjas ain't shit,
Oh no.
now you got to back it up. But other than
No.
that, it's open.
I wouldn't do that. I don't believe in emasculating men, particularly. My brothers. I don't like that. I don't believe in doing that at all.
Okay.
I will say that I had gone through dealing with men, and Armstrong, you've known me for over 20 years now. Have dealt with, oh, you too independent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've had my couple buddies from the sheriff's office that are friends of mine, like brothers to me. It's like, YP, a man gonna have a problem with this, blah 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 blah. I'm not the type of person that wears who I am, what I have, and what I got on my sleeve. But I have experience dealing with men that the whole "I'm too independent" kind of thing, and that had really been it's been disheartening because I had the desire to build with, a black man.
Yeah.
I strongly believe and support that. But it was very challenging because to hear that was a turnoff, and it's just my mere presence, or to see what I may have, I would get that. That I never understood that dynamic because I believe when we come together as a unit, we're powerful,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
So and when I was dating the dating scene, why couldn't a man say, well, I have this woman that has drive, she educated just like me, and we build together? But it wasn't that way most of the time.
Okay. Okay. So I see, and that right there. Can somebody explain to me, people in the audience that's watching this live, my brothers, Yolanda, please tell me what the hell does that mean when they say a woman is too independent? Now, I understand if the woman is too ornery and wants to debate everything along the way, but I don't see that as being independent. I see that as being difficult because it's an easier path for them.
I don't even see it as being difficult, man. I mean, you married you married an individual. Now
That's what,
you have the biblical definition of marriage, man, and then you have what I think is the
which is
real
not realistic. But go ahead,
yeah.
spoke.
Then you have what I believe to be the real definition of marriage, man. You're not always going to agree. You're not supposed to always agree. You know, y'all know my wife. She can be stubborn. She can be bullheaded. She can be difficult. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's always to our advantage.
Yeah,
It's always for the good of the house.
you sure?
You know,
Sure. Damon.
Here's the thing, man. This is just my own personal opinion. See, I think people who stand on those type of things, take those type of sides, man. They got a lot of baggage, man, and they're taking that baggage to the next relationship.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? I, for one, don't. Why do you want to control somebody? And I'm speaking in terms of man and women. Why you want to control somebody? You want them to be free. You want them to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? In terms of their own personal goals and the goals that are set between the couples, the marriage. We get caught up so much, man, with listening to people who has baggage that makes them so angry and bitter. You know that becomes the narrative. That becomes what it is, and that's not really the case, man. How are you gonna how are you gonna go on a date with a woman or a man and say, oh man, you too independent, or you this or you that? You know what I'm saying? You speaking of, you don't even know the person. You feel what I'm saying? You don't even know the person. That's hating. Off rip.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to ask yourself, what do you bring into that date or that situation? What you bring into it? You bring in your excess baggage. Somebody hurt you in the past, so you're gonna take that on everybody else, and that is really simply what it is. You know, and then other hurt people hear it and say, "Oh, that sounds like my situation. Let me jump on the
Yep.
bandwagon." You know, and it just perpetuates itself, and it becomes an ugly thing, man. And then unfortunately, our women, you know what I'm saying, are the poster people of that bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? You got people over in South Korea talking about black women. Really? Really?
But
The hell do you know about it? You don't know nothing about it. Why y'all women walking around with braids in your head? You understand what I'm saying?
but what
And
is somebody,
dancing like, huh?
what did you allude to when somebody else say hurt people hurt people? Those people are over there, and may not be accepted in their society. So guess what? They got a platform to read that, that spew that garbage.
Right.
I want you guys to look at the bottom of the screen what Andrea wrote. This is her definition, and y'all tell me what y'all think about that. I
Well, I
think she
mean,
makes a good point.
I think that's true
very
to a
good point.
degree, and also dealing with somebody's insecurities as well.
Hmm.
I mean, who wants to live their life governed by somebody else's bully tactics?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, the craziest thing, before I got married, the craziest thing was the notion that as a man, there's an expectation of me to go out and earn all the money for the house, and take care of all the bills and everything. Now, there's times that I've done it, but I was a miserable soul. I mean, a two-house income is probably the best thing since sliced bread, I believe.
Oh, it is.
That's how we support each other. Not only emotionally but financially.
Hmm.
I mean, we both increase each other's status. I mean that's a thing. That's a definite thing. It's a partnership. We make each other look good.
Okay, well, let me ask you guys a question. Who's to blame, the father or the mother? And this is uh, asked in fun more than anything. Who's to blame when it comes to the breadwinner scenario? Now, is it a man who wants to control everything, or is it a woman? I'm speaking in extreme, or is it a woman who don't want to do anything but cook and clean and sit at the house? Those are the two. That's two of the extremes.
Hmm.
Mm.
So,
Is it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
who would you? Like I said, this is half serious, half funny.
Right.
Who would you blame?
I don't know if the male or female is to blame, or is it society and the expectation, that society holds for men and women and the roles and gender roles. I remember being a little girl. I remember my grandfather going to work, coming home on Fridays, giving my grandmother his envelope in that little the brown envelope with his money. So as a little girl, I saw a man provides and take care of home. My grandmother may have worked seasonally at the peanut factory or something like that. And her role was she cooked, she cleaned, took care of the kids, took care of the grandkids, that type of deal. And I think that when depending on what you see in your household as a child, I think that moves into adulthood as well. Without considering a lot of times, like today's economics, it takes two incomes.
Oh, it does.
It takes two incomes, and a husband and wife should work together as a team. Is that and that wife being a helpmate, helping. You know, that's just where I see it.
Here's the thing where this is what's crazy to me. If you see a situation that's working, and the two individuals are respecting each other, why is it anybody's damn business? Man?
Well, it's nobody's
Right.
business.
I'm just saying. I mean, just think about that for a minute. Why, what I'm saying, if two people come together and it works, why other people worrying about who working, who ain't working, who staying at home? Why are
Mm-hmm.
people worrying about that?
Right.
Because people want to give away their respect. They want you to give them your respect, and they want you to give them your business. That's what it is. It's a natural thing where they feel some kind of way about themselves. So guess
Mm-hmm.
what? They're looking for cracks in your armor
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or looking for you to be beat on. Jaquari,
What was the question again?
why is the cat red and the monkey brown? Um,
That's how God made them.
now who's to blame?
They say why the baboon got a rainbow ass.
I said, look, in a fun way, who's to blame, the man or the woman or society when it comes to defining gender roles?
Well, I mean, people defining and standing on gender roles, man. It was not always our tradition. A lot of a lot of tribes back in Africa were actually matriarchal. They weren't patriarchal.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I would I don't want to be controversial or anything, but I would say that the Bible had a lot to do with that. You know, the strength being put on the man's side or whatever. I
Trying to keep
mean,
control.
yeah, I mean, if you would go back, to those same tribes in Africa, lineage was traced from the mother's side, not the father's side.
Always.
And so whoever wrote the Bible, in my opinion, had a lot to do with that. Now,
So
I don't want to step on toes or anything, but a lot of notions we get and still live by today are are biblically based, right? But those same notions, particularly for our community, are blowing up in our faces.
okay, okay. Well, let me ask this. Um, and this is coming from a charitable stance. You notice I'm touching different things. They're similar, but they're not the same. A charitable stance, right? If a brother asks you for help, as opposed to a sister, who would you most likely help? And we'll start with you, Yolanda.
It
Being
doesn't.
no, being as transparent as possible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. It doesn't matter to me. Whether it's a man or a woman that needs help. I got people in my family I love and care about, male and female. So if I can, help, uh, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Squad.
Yeah, I hold no particular judgment. I mean, basically, it's whoever asks first. And if I'm in the position to help, who asks second, then I guess God bless me. But I'm not gonna look down on a person because I have an opinion about something. I'm looking at the situation, and
Right.
if I'm able to cover that need, then so be it. That makes me feel good, man. Helping that makes me feel good. That's
Mm-hmm.
60% of that situation is for me.
No doubt. No doubt. Damon.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I'm able to, I help, man. If I'm able to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, one day you have good fortunes and the next day you might get your head bumped.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You know what I'm
real.
saying? And then you're sitting around uh uh wanting, compassion. You know what I'm saying? Needing compassion, not judgment. People they want to judge and you say, okay, keep living.
That's right. My grandma used to say that. Yep.
Keep living. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hit a struggle point at some point in their life. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. So me, I've always been this type of human being. I've been laid back. When I was younger, I was insecure until anger set in. And when anger set in, I started to see my true strength. I can honestly say that, right? So my question to you guys is this. If you met you and you knew everything about you, what would be your opinion about you? I'll go first so you guys will understand. Because it's and I'm not looking for anything in particular, it's just how this shit soak into you, right? If I were to meet me, and I say this from the standpoint of I got a gigantic ego. I got a lot of fucking self-worth. Love the I love the effort that I am because when I see people, it's about the love of the people. But I'm not stupid, right? So if I saw me, the energy radiating from me would make me feel that I need to pay attention to me. Not necessarily follow my words word for word or anything or do what I say. What I see in me is I command, I have the kind of energy that draws people to me. They may not want to be around my ass for long, but they're drawn to me. You guys understand what I mean? Fluke,
Hmm.
we'll start with you.
Ask the question again. If I was to meet, what was the question again?
If you were to meet you, what would be your opinion of you?
What would be my opinion of myself? Um, that's a tough question, bro.
It's tough because you want to be modest.
No, it's
Then
not that because
why is it tough?
I mean, for me, like if I didn't know myself and I just meet me as a stranger, I think I was a pretty good dude, a pretty good guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, I know a lot of people had their opinions about me because I was pretty much quiet, you know, in the beginning. But
I'm speaking from you now. This is you. This Damon Armstrong meeting Damon Armstrong. Forget anybody else. This is Damon Armstrong meeting Damon Armstrong. That's why I answered the way I did.
I don't know, man. That's a tough question for me, man.
Uh,
Really, I
we,
mean, now
we,
if they would now if I was to meet myself and have some advice, now I can answer that all day. You know what I'm saying? I can answer that all day, but
we'll come back to you. All right, we'll come
uh,
back to you. Yolanda,
Mhm.
it's on you. So what you gonna do?
Okay, so Yolanda meeting Yolanda, I would say, is an encourager to other people. Um, Yolanda is impatient, but learning to be with that impatience, learning to trust the process. Yolanda sometimes, Yolanda meeting Yolanda is that knowing it's okay for my cup to be full. It's
Okay.
okay to fill my cup up and not
Okay.
give to everybody else.
All right. And look. The first two of y'all trying to be real humble. Look, this is a question to big yourselves up. Jaquari, we're gonna come back to you, Yolanda. Jaquari, let them know how you would answer this question.
Well, I mean, if I was to meet myself, man, my opinion of myself, man, would be like, man, you are so unfinished, bruh. You're so unfinished. You spend a lot of time dreaming about success. Well, wake up, dreamer, and put some action behind your shit and get your thing off, brother. Why are you sitting on all this? Why are you sitting on this? How many times, man, have you sat alone in your room, man, by yourself and complained about being lonely? When all you had to do was go outside. I've never had to put a lot of effort into being me. You know, I would be afraid to take that advice because I'm a bad motherfucker for real. And in a lot of situations, man, I just sit back and analyze and I tell myself, man, these motherfuckers better be glad I got these chains on me for real. Because if I didn't, it'd be a different world. That's what you got in you, Spoke. That's what you got in you.
Say the atmosphere would smell different. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be different.
Damon, we circled back around to you, brother.
It depends on what age I go back to, man. I had a lot of anger, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now, me, if I met that person back then, I would like, damn, why are you so angry? You know what I'm saying? And why do you isolate yourself? I don't understand it now, but that's how I was. You know what I'm saying? I was a loner. I kept to myself. People knew of me, and I was around people, but majority of the time I was by myself. You know, um, because there was a whole lot of shit I didn't understand about certain environments I was in, man. So, man, that's the best answer I can give, bro. I didn't have no ego, and I wasn't,
Get the
pe-
fuck out of here, man.
people thought I did. See,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. People thought I did, but no, what's crazy, man, I was that guy who went to the
I'm not saying,
library every day. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying in that in a bad way. So don't misinterpret. No, me. I'm looking at you. You you are telling the truth about how you feel, right? But you still thought a lot about you because you made a lot happen for you. I've witnessed it. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's
Yeah,
real. That's real. So look, I'm not pushing back like say, yo, you wrong or no. That outburst came because I think a lot about you. Because I seen you accomplish a lot because you knew your self-worth. Period. Yolanda, you have anything else? You don't have to, but you have anything else? You know what I'm saying? You can volunteer it.
I would say, Yolanda, little girl coming from the projects, look where God has me now. You did that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's real. That's real. All right. What we'll do is real quick, Jaquari and Yolanda, last words, and then we're gonna go into Damon's final segment. So we'll go to you, Jaquari, then Yolanda, your last words.
Yolanda, I thank you very much for your time and your input. And, I have a very high level of respect of the field of endeavor that you chose to put your intelligence and resources behind. And I wish you the greatest of luck. And we always say that our guests after the first time are always recurring. So if you want to come on here and talk about the weather, you are more than welcome to come and do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it so much. This is a opportunity. This has been an awesome opportunity. I'm telling y'all are some amazing human beings. You made me feel comfortable in this process. I appreciate the opportunity to speak not only about myself, but my business, my struggles, things I've gone through, and my prayers that anything that I've shared this evening would bless somebody else. And going back to mental health is that, hey, it's okay. Please know it's okay to say, hey, I'm not okay. Tell somebody that you trust and get some help. And I would say to, you gentlemen, any of the people out there looking or listening this evening, know that when God gives you a vision, he gave it to you, not to them. Sometimes we can look for support in people, family and friends. We may not get that support because sometimes people don't know how to support you. And you have to be okay with that. Sometimes you're not everybody's cup of tea, and vice versa, and be okay with that and move on with whatever, goal or vision or dream that's in your heart to do. And know that God got you.
Well said.
Oh, um, Damon, bring us on home, my guy.
Well, lately, man, one thing I have to stop doing, man, is start paying attention to. I'm really into our people, not against anybody else, but our people. How we being attacked from all different angles, man. And I just been thinking about, okay, how do a person get through that in their life? How do a 57-year-old man? How did you survive that? How did I survive that? You know what I'm saying? And the only thing I can think about is like having like a tempered mindset. You have to understand that, okay, they're going to come at you this way. Your dad is going to, if you're a male, your dad is going to have that talk with you, whatever. So it's basically truly surviving the experience. It's surviving the experience, and that speaks a lot. I mean, that says a lot about who we are as a people. We are not victims. You know what I'm saying? We are people who survived other people trying to victimize us. And then they have the nerve to try to turn that around and make us feel a certain type of way, like we're weak. Like we don't have, like what we're saying is not what we're experiencing. So, yeah, that's the conclusion that I came to. I have, me personally, the tempered mindset that I have, because if I acted out on all the anger that all the situations that I experienced negatively, act on it with anger, I would probably be one of those brothers in prison, or somebody, been and did something bad to me. So think about that for a minute. Think about the daily barrages that come at you about what people think you are and don't have a damn clue. But they speak loud with their chests out about it. And it's like, and as I've been watching these different things happening, I'm like, man, these got to be the most stupidest people in the world, man. The craziest thing to me is when I hear other minorities talking about our experience as black people. And it's like, if you're gonna be on our side solidarity wise, if you're gonna be that, but don't try to tell us what we went through. Don't tell us that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have any idea. You might have similar experiences, but you don't know. Don't come up with it. Don't come with a list of questions that that you're gonna throw at me because you're trying to control the narrative. That don't make no sense. You don't know you don't know what, you haven't walked a mile in my shoes. So stop it with that bullshit. And the one thing that I want to stress more than anything is whenever you hear, see, or whatever, and you're able to comment or respond to it, somebody trying to talk about our women, done with that shit, man. I'm done with that shit. I watched a video from South Korea talking about our women, and I'm like, that cut it for me. That cut it for me. Hey, dude, if you ain't got nothing good to say about men, our men and women, don't say shit. Don't say nothing, because all you doing is giving people fuel. I mean, that is. I look at my girls, my wife, my grandbaby, women that I know in my life, and I'm like, I'm not putting up with that bullshit anymore. I'm not. I'm speaking on it. I'm going at cats, black, white, China. I don't care. I'm going at them. No, you ain't finna say that in my presence. No, you're not finna get away with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's real. And if you got something to say about a black woman's attitude, and you not black, it ain't none of your goddamn business. Ain't none of your business. You deal with yours. Don't come over here talking about mine. And it's not gonna happen in my presence anymore, man. And I'm standing on that. You know, and I'm a little in my feelings a little bit, but you know, that's how I feel, man. And I'm gonna feel like that till they throw dirt on me. It's getting old, man. That's all I got to say, bro.
Okay.
Now, Keith, real quick. Now, is that the whole website, or?
Hey, did I spell it wrong, Yalanda?
It looks
Scroll
like it's
across
look
the
like, well, the way it's scrolled across is healinginterventionsinc.org. So it should just be where I put in the private chat. I don't know if you can copy and paste it there, because the way it is at the bottom, it's like all together.
You asking a lot.
That's right there. That's the crazy thing about it, Yalanda. I can't space. I tried to space it a couple times.
Yeah, and you asking him to copy and paste. I mean, you gonna make him blow up the house.
Oh, how you playing me, my guy? Wow.
Man, look, it ain't but between us, Yalanda, it ain't a thimbleful of doggone technology intelligence. It ain't.
But a whole lot of wisdom and philosophy up there. I used to call him the philosopher when we was on duty.
Yeah.
For a reason, my man.
That's right.
I get it. I understand.
All right. Let's do it. See, it's a little space now, Yalanda. Is that correct? Because I want to make sure
There you go.
everything is everything. Is that good?
Yeah, it's a little space now. But if you like, I can just say it out loud, you know.
Oh, yeah, man. Do you?
Oh yeah.
We
Okay.
spoke about this in the beginning, so you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to correct our decision. So
Gotcha. It's www.healinginterventionsinc.org. So that's healinginterventionsinc.org.
yeah, Malika got you. I'm gonna put it across. I'm gonna put it up there so everybody
There you
can see.
Thank you, Malika.
Hey,
Thank you,
Yolanda,
cuz.
when we get off, you can be like, "Damn, Strong."
Yeah.
Listen, in all caps.
All
like
you
when I
had to
said it.
do.
First of all, you know I don't feel bad because I had this conversation. Y'all was privy to the conversation. I said, "Yo, oh no, we'll get it later. We'll get it later. I tried to do it for you later." But look, stay on after we get off live, Yolanda. But
Okay.
this is Strong Perspective Podcast. Understand that we're this is an uncut gem that's worth millions that people don't know about. Spread the word about this podcast Because what we do it for the people. This is an organic situation. This is growing slowly. It might be slow, but it's growing. You know why? Because what we're doing is we touching every human being that we come across. And what we do is we display strength. This sister here is a great example of strength. Always known her to be this way. You understand? And that's because of her upbringing, because of her mom, aunts, and sisters, hey, her husband, you know, everybody. That's real. Her village.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Her village formed this diamond. This diamond here, her village did this. And everyone that we bring on in this situation, the Lord takes us to it. And what we want to do is have each and every human being that come on to our podcast have a great experience. I'm not going to ask, let it change your life and all of this. I'm not going to do that because maybe it won't. But what it does is to understand that the three of us care about who you are and how you feel. And that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words before we get up at him? Because it's strong. Oh, go like, share, and subscribe. And share this. Share our shit. Because it's real.
Hey, look, if we get 100 subscribers on the next show, I'm gonna sing a song.
Now, we already
We
got
look forward to
108.
it.
Or
We
100
got
more.
108. So
100 more.
109 subscribers, you can sing the song.
Oh, hold on now, Shorty. Yeah.
All right, now look. We're going to take it on home. Any last words before we go?
Now, just again, I appreciate this opportunity. I thank you guys. I have enjoyed this experience, and may you all be blessed as well as your families. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Heck of a show, you guys. Heck of a show.
Oh, yeah. It's a Strong Perspective podcast. Go like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to see y'all next Friday, folks.
Good night.
Good night.